This version over to the right will take less time to print, as we can see here. So let's see if we can design that. Here are some of the measurements we're going to use to make a quicker print. So let's go over into SolidWorks and get started. So going into the STEM server, loaded up SolidWorks. Let's go ahead and start with an extrude front plane. And how about we start with the square this time? And let's use it. Let's see if we can make it for construction, so we're not really using it for part of the suspension arm. And we're going to make this 160 and make sure it says millimeters over to the side. Looks like my cap locks was on. And I guess we don't really do it the other way, but I don't know, why not? 160 millimeters, making that square. And let's go ahead and draw an A. I think I'm going to start at the bottom and then go up here and then back down over here. And then I'm going to hit escape. And then I'm going to click on one of them, hold the shift key down, select the other one, and make sure that these are equal in length rather. Next thing I'm going to do is put the A or the crossbar over here. I can put it, I suppose, at a diagonal like that, hit escape, and then make sure that it's going to be parallel. I wonder if it'll just do it that way. There we go. And we can really put it anywhere along there. I'm just going to place it out there. And we want to make sure this angle is somewhere between 10 and 45. I got close to 25, so I'll just put 25 in there. Next thing we're going to do is use offset entities. And one of the measurements that it said over here was it wants the width to be 5 millimeters. So let's do that on the 5 millimeter offset. We'll put 5 in there, and let's see what that looks like. Looks like I forgot to select the entities first. So let me shift click all of them until they turn light blue. Oh, I was holding cap locks down, no wonder. All right, so shift click. And the dark blue turns to light blue. Let's try the offset again. And we're going to go with 5 millimeters, and you see that I got it there. Next thing we want to do is close off the bottom of this A, so right there and right there. So it can begin to make a solid shape that we can extrude. And also we want to clean up the crossbar right over there. So let's zoom in right there and use some trim entities. So I'm going to click and drag through there and there. I also don't need that arm. And there and there and there. This looks like something I can extrude. I'm going to agree to that, extrude it. And I think I need to make it 9 millimeters. That was the depth that I'm down to right here. All right, and that's the basic framework. Now we're going to do is use this line and that point to define a plane. I want to make sure that this sketch is visible. This is a key part here. When you're on this, make sure that you make it visible so that way we can use it as a reference point. We're going to go to reference geometry. If this plane doesn't show, make sure that you've exited the sketch or hit escape. So we're going to define a plane that's going to be perpendicular to this and going through that point. So you can see it's kind of cutting right through the middle of the A. Let's go ahead and agree to that plane and then do an extrude right through there. So there, and I need to make a circle that's there. And I want it to be just tangent there. So when you do the circle, do it at the edge of this A and not at the middle. In fact, I want to make sure I got right at the edge of it. So I'm going to zoom way in. And I don't want you to select in the middle. I want you to go to the circle and go right at the edge. That is key. We want it to intersect right there. We're going to make sure it does that by using Smart Dimension. And I made the height of that 9, so I'll make this 18 millimeters. So it's twice the diameter of the height of this A arm. Let's extrude it both directions, 5 millimeters each way. So 5 millimeters this way, direction 2. Down on the lower left-hand side, another 5 millimeters that way. And we have a nice cylinder. We'll agree to that. Now let's cut a hole through the middle, which is 13.6. That again, that is on our inner diameter. So we've done our 18 millimeters already. Let's do a cut on this face. To find the center of this, you can hold your mouse to the outer edge until you see an orange dotted line that helps you spot the plus sign in the middle. And so you can kind of lock it in to that position. See if I can get it right there. All right, let's make that right there a smart dimension 13.6. 13.6. Let's cut that all the way through. Extrude cut. And you need to go all the way through, which is going to be 10 millimeters. And I agree to that. And I guess I can right click and go over here to pan and rotate around to make sure I got a hole there. I could go ahead and put a chamfer there as well. So let's go up here to fillet, select chamfer or chamfer, go there. And let's just make it like a 1 millimeter edge on there to make that pipe go in just a little bit easier. You can also do the same thing on this other edge on the back side of that, putting a chamfer in there. And like that. And let's orbit around to make sure that looks good on the other side. Yeah, so pipe could easily slide into that area. Let's do the same thing going back and going down to the bottom right there. So again, we have a line and a point. So we're going to define a plane and make the big circle there at the end rather than at the edge. Now, I guess I need to show you this. You can right click in this area up here on the toolbar. And I think you can unselect that. Right click here, right click there and say customize. And I like to go get this view. And I like this one. I use it a lot. So I'm going to drag it up here so I can use it throughout this video. You can click on that, slide around here so it can more easily select the reference geometry, this line, that point, and looks like it says constraints are invalid. I'm not really sure why. So let me try it again. So reference geometry, plane, this line, and that point. Seemed like it worked that time. Not sure why it failed. Let's go ahead and make our circle there. So we like that plane. We'll extrude from that plane, circle. Let's make sure we put it right there at the red. So not midpoint down here. We want it right there at that point. And then going to smart dimension that, right, like that. Make sure it's 18 millimeters is the outer diameter. All right, let's see what that looks like if we just extrude it straight without doing 5 and 5, if we just kind of go in one direction. Now that looks like the other wrong direction, so we can click this arrow over here and it will go back the other direction, 10 millimeters. Let's see if that looks okay. So we right click, oh, I can go up here and kind of, here's my scroll wheel, take a look around, see if that looks all right. Looks like it might be okay. Let's look at the whole thing and make sure that it's looking the same way on both sides. You can see I got the flat side here that's going to 3D print, and then this is going to be raised up above it. I'd rather have it that way so I can use this whole surface to print on rather than having that suspended. So if I had this beam in the middle, then this would be floating out in midair. It's more difficult to 3D print. Let's go over to this one and do the other plane definition with this line and that point. Seemed like it did something wrong again. So maybe I just need to escape. Let's try that again. Plane. I want this line and that point. And it picked the wrong thing. So maybe I need to zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to hit cancel. Get in there closer to this to make sure that I don't select this one. I need to select that one right there. So that's kind of key, you know, being able to see that I need to select the point through which the line passes. That's the advantage of that zoom feature. It's going to help me catch things like that. Let's try it again. Plane. This time it's going to be right. That looks a lot better. Go ahead and agree to that. Extrude. I'm going to select a circle right there. And you know how big that one's going to be. It's going to be 18 millimeters. Let's try extruding it 10 millimeters just to see what happens. Looks like it's going the right direction also. So we'll go with that. And we'll also go ahead and begin to cut the hole through the middle. So we're going to select that face and hover over the outside edge for the circle until you get the orange. Find the center, go out here, I'm going to cut through here. Then we don't quite click it for my smart dimension. It's going to be 13.6 millimeters. And I'm going to drill this hole all the way through this one and the next one. So let's go ahead and go back to features, cut. And let's just go like 200 millimeters all the way through. So that way I'm a little bit more efficient with my drilling. I can also do the chamfers right there and right there. That looks good. And then we go back to this tool, flip it over to the other side and select this one and that one. And chamfer, I like the 1 millimeter. And I guess I need to select that again. Didn't seem to work. We don't want to select a surface. We want to get the edge. So let me hit escape. See if I can get just the edge because we're going to put it only on that ring and that ring. Maybe I hold the shift button down to select both of them. Going back 1 millimeter. Much better. And let's finish this part up by putting some fillets in there. So we can right click and pan down a little bit. Maybe curl back up so I can see these two things. So I can select it again. So that way I get my selection tool back and I want to get that angle or that line right up in here. Shift click again. And this time I'm going to put a fillet in there. Let's try 10 millimeters just to see how it looks. Because it's a nice little curve in there. It's going to help with the structural strength of that. It's going to help with the strength of that for sure. I'm going to try to click there and do another fillet. And for some reason I have to click twice or no. Right there. Fillet. Good. All right. I'll let you decide where else you would like to put it. You could, of course, do this other one by right clicking and going over like this. Looking at the whole part, you can see these things are visible. We can hide the first sketch like that, or if that was the one, not sure. But these planes, we don't really need to see those, so we can hide those. It's not really required, but it does make it a little bit easier to focus on the part. At this point, yeah, this really needs a fillet here and maybe up there as well. You can maybe even put a fillet between those two surfaces to make it a little bit stronger. Let you decide what you want to do there, but this is like the minimum you want to do. And then what you can do is pin this and go File, Save As. And the first thing you want to do is just save it as a, I don't know, like new one. Great, I was using cap locks. And that's SLDPRT. This is the new version of it. That's going to take a little less time to print. And if you want to go a step further, you can also save it as a STL file. This is something that you need to load into Cura to be able to print. But if you can just get to the SLDPRT file, that will be good. And then go into D2L and upload the SolidWorks part file. And as a something to help me out, you can also upload the SLT file in there so that I don't have to go make it, and then I can load it up into Cura and print it for you. I hope that helps you with part number, well, team project number 1. All right, talk to y'all soon.